With the release of Prismatic Evolutions, the Scarlet and Violet era had erupted. The top 10 has completely changed, and majority of the cards are actually made up of Prismatic Evolution cards. Today we're going to see what that top 10 looks like and see what cards actually still remain in that top 10 from other Scarlet and Violet sets, and I believe there would only be about 3 or 4 of them. Let's have a quick look and see what that looks like. So the first card we're going to be looking at today is the Umbreon Master Ball Holo, which takes the number 10 spot, and of course Prismatic Evolutions card is going to start us off here, going for a whopping $301.57. Of course, this one would be up there, and the pull rates for this set are insane. And getting a Master Ball rare, any variant of course, is not that difficult, but to get a specific one is over 1 in 1,000 from what I recall. This one over here, 101.57. There isn't anything special about it other than it being the Umbreon, of course, and the Master Ball Reverse Holo. And the hype around this card is just because of who it is and the fact that it's a Master Ball Reverse, and the first Master Ball Reverse from an English set, of course, as well. This one over here started off around a $600 card, but of course it died down as the set was out, and now we're sitting approximately at $301. So it has died down a little bit. I don't know where we'll see this one go. PSA 10 is going for $530 currently, and there's only a population of 29 of these cards. This set is still due to have some sort of restock at one point, maybe in the next 3 or 4 months. We'll see when that actually happens and if there is a further dip in some of these singles, because in all honesty, some of these cards are just way out there in price and just overpriced in general. But as of right now, Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions, the Master Ball Holo, takes the number 10 spot. Next up, we have Glaceon EX from Prismatic Evolutions, another one from Prismatic, and this one over here is in the number 9 spot, going for $315.50. A PSA 10 is going for approximately $2,000. Insane, completely insane. I don't think that price is correct. Maybe it's just the 1 or 2 cards, the reason why it's sitting at that amount. But in reality, I don't think a PSA 10 should be going for $2,000. We'll see if this one drops as well once the set has that restock. This one has more or less been the same price since it's released, $315-ish. And Glaceon EX, a beautiful card. Honestly, I like the whole crystallization concept, and this is a nice one in my opinion. Taking the number 8 spot is Flareon EX, currently going for $332, so just a few dollars off of each other here so far. The PSA 10 is only going for $850, which is quite a difference between the Glaceon and the Flareon, hence why I said that the Glaceon's PSA 10 price I don't believe is an accurate one. I think $800 makes a little bit more sense for these cards, but $2,000 pushing it, especially something for right out the gate. But similar to the Glaceon, this one has more or less stuck around that same price, around $300 since it had released, and we'll see what it looks like once we have the restock of this set. And in the number 7 spot is Greninja EX from Twilight Masquerade. How excited am I to talk about a card that's actually not from Prismatic Evolution. So yes, as I mentioned, we are going to see some cards that are in the top 10 that are not from Prismatic Evolutions, and Greninja EX is one of those cards. This one over here has actually had a little bit of an upward movement here. We were at approximately $278, $275 in September of last year, and we've climbed up just under $100 here for this card. So it's having some movement. Of course, there is the market boom that's currently happening as well that's pushing this card, and I'm really glad to see this one still be in the top 10, because honestly, this card was riding number 1 for like 5-6 months, and all of a sudden just unfortunately lost its place because of Pikachu and Prismatic Evolutions. But I'm glad to see that it's still up there because it's a really nice card, and Twilight Masquerade is a great set, and I think this one will stick around the top 10 even though we have Prismatic Evolutions in the mix. And back to Prismatic Evolutions, Leafeon EX, a beautiful card, honestly in my top 3, and it's currently going for $356. So not far off from the Greninja, about $6 more. This one was slightly higher in price when it did release, around that $478, about $489, and now has dipped down to about $356. So we are seeing a little bit of a dip here with these cards from Prismatic, but overall still very pricey and still in the top 10. Most of them are going to be holding a top 10 spot. Leafeon, honestly, a beautiful card. I love the whole nature aspect, just hanging out on a tree there, got some grapes in the background. It's a beautiful card, and honestly one of my favorite from Prismatic Evolutions. I love to pull it. Fortunately, I haven't pulled any of the evolutions. Mind you, I haven't been able to get much product to even open these or rip into these booster packs to get these cards, let alone the whole pull rates being 1 in like 1400 for a specific special illustration rare. So pretty much a lot is against all of us regular collectors here. It's been a tough ride, honestly, and the prices don't help either if you wanted to get it in a single. And coming in number 5 is Espeon EX at $397. So this one is, now we're getting closer to those $400 mark, and it's up there. And honestly, Espeon is a decent card, and I think it deserves to be in the top 5. PSA 10 going for $1,500. Again, I don't know if these prices are correct or not, because we saw what happened with Glaceon, then we saw Flareon completely drop in price, but the raw copy being more expensive. So I can't really justify these PSA 10 prices right now, and the populations are quite low with them. But right now, the Espeon EX taking the number 5 spot at $397. And coming in number 4 is Mew EX from Paldean Fates. And I'm super happy to see that this card is still making some big moves, going currently for $401 US as per TCG Player. Insane. And this card was under $100 just 4 or 5 months ago. I mean, and we can look at that right here. I'm not making that up. You can see here, the raw copy here is going for $92. TCG Player going for $90 in August. And then only now we started to see the hype. You see it go around 170 in November, and then around 290 in December, and now we're up to around 400 in January/February of this year. So it's making some big moves here. Mew EX, beautiful card. I know I've talked about this one a lot with the Diglets, the Oddish, and all the other Pokemon in the background. And honestly, I missed this one. I did not pull it, and I didn't go for it. I should have went for it, and it's one that I regret. I should have got it. I did, however, get 2 Charizards, so I am happy with that. It's just the Charizards are not worth as much as the Mew, but both beautiful cards, and Mew currently taking the number 4 spot in the top 10 from the Scarlet and Violet era. And coming in number 3 is Pikachu EX from Surging Sparks, this beautiful special illustration rare. A very difficult card to pull, one in approximately 950 to get this card, specific special illustration rare that is, to pull from Surging Sparks. And Surging Sparks is not easy to find either, completely sold out everywhere. If you're looking to buy it, you're gonna have to pay an arm and a leg for it. I believe a booster box, last time I looked, was going for around $350. So yeah, it's not the greatest, and that is also what's contributing to this price being very high. PSA 10 going for about $1,044. With this one, I do kind of see that that's going to be more or less the price of it, because it's been out for quite a few months now, and we've seen a population of 2,500, and we do see that it declined completely from that $2,800, $3,000 mark that it originally was at around November. As you can see here, in November, we're looking at $2,800, and now we've dropped down to around $1,100 to $1,000 for this one in a PSA 10. Pikachu still holding strong though, $467 for a raw copy. It's a beautiful card and a fantastic Pikachu, and I'm really happy to see that something other than a Prismatic Evolution card is actually in the top 3 currently, and that is Pikachu from Surging Sparks. And in number 2 is Sylveon EX from Prismatic Evolutions, going for $507. PSA 10 is going for approximately $2,000 and has a population of 47. This one is actually a beautiful card, definitely one that a lot of people want, and you know what? I think it deserves that $500 price point right now. Similar to all the other evolutions from this set, very difficult to pull, one in over 1,000 for a specific illustration rare, and this one is also a part of that group. We can see here on release day it was approximately going for $700, so it has gone down a bit into that $507 mark that it's at currently. But again, a beautiful card. Love to have it in my collection as well. Very difficult to get, and I don't want to pay that $500 price point, to be quite honest with you guys. And taking the number 1 spot is Umbreon EX, the Sunbreon in my opinion, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, a beautiful card and a very difficult card to pull. A PSA 10 is currently pulling about 3,800. Population is 222. TCG Player raw price is $1,500, $1,569 to be specific. It's insane. It has dropped down a little bit since it did come out, and we can see here the TCG Player price was approximately $1,600, and it's gone down about $50. So not a lot of, not a big drop, but a little bit of a drop. But it's holding steady with $1,560, and I think it's going to stick around that price, unfortunately. We'll see what happens when the restock happens, if it impacts it at all. I think there will be a minor impact, but I don't see it being a huge impact where it will drop less than $1,000. If it does, fantastic, but I don't honestly see that happening. So that is a quick look at the top 10 cards from the Scarlet and Violet era currently. A lot of movement since we made this video last time around. I believe it was around November or December. And we kind of knew that was going to happen with the release of Prismatic Evolutions. I personally knew that was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen to that extent where we're going to see all of these cards completely wipe out everybody else. Like we don't see any Charizards in here. The Magikarp didn't make this. It's pretty sad, actually, if you think about it. But that's what it is. We'll have another look at this 5 or 6 months down the line to see what's actually happening and if there are any major changes. Of course, we've got Destined Rivals coming out, which probably will impact it a little bit as well with the release of Team Rocket's Mewtwo. But that's pretty much what it looks like right now. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this and if we're going to see any big changes in the coming months or if this is probably what it's going to look like for the near future. And if you guys got this far in the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. My name's TRV. You guys are the greatest, and we'll see you next time.